We're gonna make a mixed media pumpkin, and I'm using, this is just an 8x10 canvas. You can use any size you want to. And what you're going to need is some book paper or music paper. You could even use scrapbook paper. It doesn't really matter. You just need some paper. And then just so that you know, this came from an old book, okay? Slightly dry it on the paper towel just to get most of the water out. And I'm gonna start with this dark blue, and I'm just gonna start painting, and that is really dark, but it's okay. And I'm gonna paint the sides. Now with my unwashed brush, I'm going to dip a little bit in this light blue. And this blue is kind of bad, but I'm just going to kind of brush this on just to give it a little bit of, I guess you kind of say, a marbling effect, or just so that it doesn't look so flat of the blue. Also kind of lightens it up a little bit. You can do the same thing with the white. And be sure and do the sides as well. Okay, so this is my background. I am happy with that, and I am gonna let this dry. I am gonna paint about 4 sheets to make sure that I have enough. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take this spiced pumpkin, and I'm going to take a little bit of this burnt orange, and it won't take very much at all, because what I'm going to do is add some water. Watercolor would work as well, except when you put Mod Podge on top of it. If you're using watercolor, the Mod Podge would reactivate the water. I mean the watercolor. So you don't want to do that. I might need a smidgen more, but that's okay. So I'm just going to, I wish I had a little bitty cup, but I don't have one here. Just going to add some water right there. I'm just going to use another big brush. And I'm just going to add this. And this is just real wet and real kind of soupy. And I'm just going to paint over, just to kind of, I'm dipping into the other one as well. And I like to see the words, but if that's not what you like, you could definitely just paint it solid. But I kind of like it when it's not. I need a little bit more of this one. There's too many items, but it's all worth it, I promise. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get one other piece of paper, and I just need a little bit because I'm going to paint a stem. Okay, so we're going to let that dry. So now I'm going to just take my pumpkin, and I'm just going to cut this out. And I am not being precise. I just kind of want to give me an idea of where I want my pumpkin and the pieces. Okay? And I'm not going to cut my pieces. I'm going to tear them. So let me see. This is the first one. I'm going to have to do a little bit of drying here. All right. So if you need to, you can cut this. Cut the middle piece first, so that you have a little bit of a pattern. So here's my middle piece. I'm going to keep this, I'm going to keep those pieces in the right order so that I don't get them mixed up. And then I am going to tear my paper just right along that pattern. And it won't be perfect, but that's okay. To me, the more wonky, the better. Okay, so now I have my first piece. And I still have enough. I still have enough to do another one. And if you just wanted to make one piece, that's fine. I don't know. I made 5. But the good thing about this is I make this one a little bit bigger than my pattern. So then I have room to kind of maneuver everything around. Pardon me for the telephone ringing. And I'm just going to tear a little bit of this off. Like this. And then so now we have the start of our pumpkin. So I'm going to do this little piece, and I'm going to have to get another one. I'm going to keep this one because I may use it again right here. So I'm going to put this here. And if you needed to, you could always trace it. Because this is still a little wet. There's no telling what we'll get. I think we're getting something. Okay, there we go. Okay, kind of tore a little bit there, but we can make that work. And about this a minute. And like I said, we're probably going to have to do a little bit of adjusting here. So I'm going to put this like this, and that there. And then this is going to go on the other side, just like that. And then the pieces, and then we're going to get the brown, which probably isn't dry yet either. And make our stem however you want it. That's probably a little too thick. So I'm going to put that in there. And then these pieces are going to go back in the back, kind of angled like that, to make, like I said, to make it look a little three-dimensional. So this is going to go like that, so that it looks like the back of the pumpkin. And we may have to do some fudging, but that's okay. So I'm going to put all of this aside, making sure that all of these pieces get good and dry, because I know that that one is not dry. Put that right there. I'm going to get back to my canvas, and I guess I spit on it. Let me fix this. Oh my gosh. I don't have my words and stuff, but my background looks so good until I messed it up. There we go. We'll make it do. We'll make it work. Okay, so I'm going to take my stencil, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on my canvas wherever I want it. I don't want much stenciling on here. I just want to add a little bit of texture to it. So I'm going to add just a little bit of black. I'm going to use, this is a makeup sponge or a makeup wedge, however you want to call it. I'm going to make sure I get most of the paint off, just as if you were stenciling. And then I'm just going to take this. I've got my stencil off of the page, and I'm just going to start stenciling, just dabbing through the stencil. And that really is all I want, just that little bit. So I'm going to do a little bit up here because I am like to do things in odd numbers. I'm going to do some down here. And like I said, it doesn't take very much. And if you get too much, your paint will go underneath the stencil and it will be kind of bloppy. Okay, so next I'm going to take, and I'm hoping that my white might still be, I'm going to take my lid to my vinyl, and I'm just going to dip it in this white and twist it around. And then I'm just going to start stamping. Just like that. And you can do as little or as much as you want. I'm going to stop there. And I think I'm going to add I want to add some bubble wrap, but I'm not sure what color. If maybe I should do kind of a rusty, we'll do a rusty color. We'll see what it looks like. And I'm a finger painter. So I've just got a little bit here, and I'm just going to brush this on top. And then I'm just going to stamp it down. And that looks perfect. I don't know if you can see that. It's just a little bit. Ooh, copper would have been pretty too. I actually had that on my table. I should have done that. Get just a little bit more of this. See, that's more of what I wanted. More of, I didn't have enough paint on there. Okay. All right. I think that's good because my pumpkin's going here, and then my Hello Fall is going to be right there. Okay, so what I would like to do is I'm going to take a little bit of brown, and I'm going to add a little bit of water. What I want to do right now is I want to kind of do some distressing on the edge, but like I said, when you put Mod Podge or matte medium on top of the distress ink is not permanent. It is a water-based ink. If you use acrylic ink, of which I actually have over there, that would work great. And this Archer's archival ink, and I'm just going to go on the outside of this just to give it a little bit of a distress look, just like you would do with distress ink. But like I said, now if you use the distress oxide, I believe they are waterproof. Don't hold me to that, but I think they are. So I'm just kind of rubbing down a little bit. This just will kind of give a little bit to the edges. And I'm not worried about the middle of these outside pieces because they're going to be on the inside anyway. Now the hard part, I will tell you, the hard part about doing this pumpkin is putting it together on the canvas. Because you really need to start with the outside pieces and work your way in. So the only way that you could do it is you could actually put it together before and then add your matte medium or your Mod Podge, whichever one you have. Okay, I've done that one. Let me get my stem here because I think it needs to be a little darker. And I am getting just brown ink all over me, but that's okay. The sacrifices we crafters make. I'm using, this is just matte medium. It's Daler Rowney. I'm not certain how to pronounce that. But anyway, it's in the acrylic section of your box stores. And it's just simple matte medium. Mod Podge will work as well. So I'm going to take just another brush. Okay, so I know I want this one here. And then this one is going to go here. And then I've got to get this piece on. My pumpkin may be too big. I thought I was going to make it too small. It may be too big. Let's see. Okay, this one needs to come in a little bit. Let me tear this off some. Okay. All right. Of course, it won't work when I'm trying to do it on a live. Okay, I think I need to make this one a little smaller. So I'm going to trim this off just a little bit. Then I need to remember to ink the edge. Oops, that was the lid. That was silly. Okay, we're going to ink the edge just like that. So then we're going to put this here, and then this one, that's better. That one there. Okay, that one's going to go on top. And then I need to make sure that I get this one in the back. And then the stem can go in there just like that. And that may need to come down just a little bit. There we go. That's perfect. Okay. And then this one is going to go here. I told you it was a little confusing. I'm going to do this one. I think this is the one that I actually had in the middle. And I'm just going to fix that. And that is going to go just right there behind. Just like that. Perfect. Now we got to get it down. The hard part. Okay, I'm going to just tear that just a little bit. Okay, and then fix this. Oh. And then this one, I don't think I tore this, but maybe I did. Okay, so like I said, this is the hard part. Figuring out how to do this part. Okay, so I'm just going to take my brush. I forgot I had one. And I'm going to set these two pieces down. Of course, I got a dog here. And I'm going to put that right there. And I'm going to put this one over here. Just kind of like that. Okay, and you just need to work really quickly. We're going to put this one down first. That one may have been in the middle. Let's do this one on the end. Okay. And if you come up with a better process, please let me know. I guess I could have hot glued it, used a glue stick and glued it all together. But it was kind of like that would be too easy. And frankly, I'm not going to worry about the bottom. because I'm going to fix it anyway. I'm going to add something, not fix it. I'm going to add something to it. So that is going to go like that. And I'm going to be adding some leaves. And this one's going to come on. And you need to make sure that your paper is good and adhered and it's not bubbling up. If it's bubbling up, it might tear. All right, so I'm just going to add this to this right here. And then our piece is going to go right here in the middle. I know I have this hole, but we're going to be okay. So I'm going to put that, oh, I got to put the stem on. Put the stem in there. I've done several crafting projects with my ladies at church. They always put way too much Mod Podge on. And then they don't stick their paper down good. And so I'm like, that is just going to pull up when it dries. Okay, so I'm going to put that right there. Oh, that looks super. Then you can also take, when this dries, you can take a black pen and really go over it and add some more detail. So there's our pumpkin. Now what I'm going to do, and I told you I was going to fix this bottom part. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take that other sheet of paper that I have. I'm going to tear off the white part. And I'm going to make kind of some confetti that will be grass. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut these into little bitty tiny strips. If I had my shredders, that would work much better. But I didn't think that far. I'm going to take the white part off. And then I'm just going to cut this into little bitty teeny tiny strips. You could also tear it if you want to. But this is just going to kind of look like grass or raffia or maybe a bird's nest or something like that that your pumpkin is sitting in. So I just want to show you what I'm going to do because I don't want to keep you all night. I'm just going to crumble this up really good and then just kind of undo it. And then I'm just going to glue this to, I'll probably hot glue it, to the bottom of my page, my pumpkin. So then I'm going to add some leaves. And I think what I'm going to do is just maybe add some silk leaves, or I could paint some more paper or use some scrapbooking paper. So I'm not certain what I'm going to do yet with that. I think I'm also going to add some of this brown to the bottom. So basically that's it. It's just, I mean, painting backgrounds is so much fun. Just kind of putting paint on and slathering it all, you know, getting it all on there. Another thing to remember, if you do use Mod Podge, you need to do the whole picture. I need to go back and finish this whole frame, because if you don't, it will show. Can you kind of see in the light where you can see the difference of where the matte is from the rest of the painted frame? So you need to be sure and do the whole thing, whether you have added anything there or not.